So guys, in the continuation of the last video, this is the part 2 of it, and this is me putting this bias tape around this is the front panel of our shirt. So what you do is sewing it around it before cutting the two-piece out to make both the back and the front. So this is the back side. Now you do likewise the same thing to this one too. So guys, that is all for this part. Guys, this is the front panel now. As you can see, I'm done stitching the bias tape around it. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now after this is to cut it. So you cut it into two pieces. You remember I said we'll be sewing that bias tape down before cutting it. So what I'll do now is make sure it's straight and it's aligned before cutting it out from this point to the other end there. So I'll take my scissors now and I'll cut it out. I haven't done that now. I've separated it now. This is the front pattern, as you can see. So now I'll get the back panel now and cut it also the way I've cut this front panel. The next thing I'll do now is aligning the front and the back together the way it should be. So this is me here trying to align it together to arrange it. Front panel facing the back panel. So this is it. Here you go. So what you do now is you stitch this side, the side seam, with half an inch or 1 inches depending on your preference. So I will be stitching this down now with half inches, and I'll stitch the other side too. So I'll go now to my sewing machine and come back and show you guys how it is. So this is it now. I've given it a good press. So after making it, this is the one side of the back and front panel after stitching it down. As you can see, the design is out, and just make sure it is well aligned so that one will not be longer than the other one at the bottom of it. So the next thing to do now is taking the accurate measurement for this short. So as you can see me doing in this video, what I'm trying to do is putting the back and the front against each other. So now the first thing you do now is you take the front center waistline to your cross depth line. You take half inches for taking your hip measurement, because we are going to be using elastic or rope casing for this. So you'll be needing your hip measurement for the waistline. So my hip measurement now is 21 inches. So I'll outline it now. 21 inches. From that half, you take half, then from the half you measure 21 inches. Come down to your hip line, which is your hip measurement from your waist to your hip line. You take your hip measurement and you add additional 1 inches to that, which is 44. So you connect it now to your cross line. So that's my cross line. You make sure it is also half inches on the cross line. So you connect it to meet up with. So you chalk it now, connecting it to the cross line, which is half an inch. You make sure it's straight, it's a straight line, and if you have a bigger boat, you can actually add 1 inches or 2 inches thereabout if you want. So this is me here trying to make sure it is accurately measured before trimming it out, the excess. So this is 21. That's my actual hip measurement, which is 21 inches. So on the hip line I added 1 extra inches, that makes it 22 inches. So now I will just, this is me putting my sewing allowance to this before trimming it out. I will add like 1 inches round for the sewing allowance before trimming it, the excess out. Next thing you do is taking the center of your crush, that's from your thigh, from the down part to your thigh. After stitching that part, then I will come back and show you guys. This is it after stitching both the center crush line and the thigh to the crush line. This is the outlook of the shorts we are having. We're getting to the end of this tutorial. As you can see how beautiful it looks already. So the next thing we're going to be doing now is the waists. On the waists we'll take our straps. This is the rope I'm going to be using for the straps, for the casing to the shorts we are making. So I'll stitch this down, then I'll make a straps with it like so, give it a good press, then fix it up with a pin. So also make sure it's a very long straps you're making, because you would not want it to too short for your casing after making your dress. So this is what I will be doing next. This is me here measuring just 1 inches. Yes, this is 1 inches. Then you turn it in with 1/4 inch. So but before doing that, you have to make a bit of hole in between this place. After taking the 1 inches, you go down, you take like ½ inches after the 1 inches, you make a hole from that point. Take my picker now, and I'll take out some of those threads out, then I'll stitch it again. After I would stitch 1 inches down, then I'll make a hole out of it. I'll go now to my sewing machine and come back and show you guys how it looks. Guys, here is it. This is the rope for the casing. I've made the straps out of it. So that's the hole. As you can see, this is where I'll be passing this pin through. I'll take my pin and the straps now and pass it through the hole. As you can see, the hole is not really wide. It's not even up to ½ inches. You can see the way I've sewn it down. It's in between those space. So you have to secure it with double stitches after the 1 inches. So this is me passing it through the casing of our shirt. can see I'm done passing it through the casing. So this is the final look of the shorts. So I hope you love this. Please, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, kindly do so and turn on your notification bell so as to get notified each time I upload a new video. So now it's time to stitch the top for this tutorial, which is the crop top. Take the gathers out of this, then I will use these straps to stitch it down, and then take a bias to make the sleeve part of it. So I'll go to my machine now and come and show you how it looks. Is it I've run a free stitches round it, which is the gather stitching, which is the widest number of your sewing machine. So this is 8 inches. If your chest is very wide, you can use as much as you want, but what I am making, the chest I'm making this for, it's actually a slimmer chest, so I'll be using 8 inches. So how I did it is I draw it as you can see me doing in this video. You draw it to meet with the other end there to make sure it is well gathered before taking your measurements. Just watch me. You can watch this video to understand better what I am doing here. So I'll take my measuring tape and remeasure it again. So this is 8 inches. I'm trying to get 8 inches. So as you can see, this is 8 inches. Next thing I'll do is taking this to the sewing machine and sew it half inches down by the side. Then I'll turn it. I'll sew the down part of it before putting the straps to cover up that rough edges there we did for the gathers. So I'll use this as a bias to it. So I'll come back and show you. Yes, as you can see, I've sewn everything including the gathers. I've made the bias for that. Then the next thing you do now is taking this bias to make a round sleeve covering this. So the first thing you need to do is, don't forget we are making the straps for our sleeve. So what you do is you measure 16 inches. Yes, 16 inches. That's 8 inches for the front and 8 inches for the back. So you make sure it is 16 inches you've measured. Then after measuring the 16 inches, take it from there. Immediately from the 16 inches, you take it from there and you go round your under armhole to sew. So what I'll do is that I'll take this now and stitch it on the wrong side like so. So I'll stitch it on the wrong side like so. Then I will now flip it to meet with to the right side to cover it. So I'll be ending this bias at the right side. So this is me here, starting it from the mid part of our armhole of our seam, of our side seam. So you measure it from that end, you measure 16 inches. So you come again. If you have a pin, you can pin this down, then you come again to the other end there before you cut your bias tape. So you now flip it to the other side. Quickly go now and come back to show you. So this is it after stitching it round. As you can see, I started it from the center part of the seam line. As you can see, then there is a joining there, so I started it from the other end and I measured 16 inches from this point. I measured 16 inches to the other side of the sleeve. So I pin it down, then I sew it again to meet up with this other side. Then I did a joining there before trimming the bias. So that is it. What I'll do now is flip it to the right side now. I'll flip this now to the right side, so I'll stitch it down so that it will look neat at the wrong side and the outside part of this top. So I'll stitch it now. I'll stitch it down like so, to give it a very nice look after stitching it down. So I'll do likewise to the other side. This is the other side, so I'll come back and show you guys how it looks. Here is the final look of our lovely top. As you can see how neat the back side is, and also with the sleeve, no bending, and this is it. This is the final look of this top. So guys, if you find this video interesting, kindly like, comment below and share this video, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel guys. Thank you if you're already a subscriber, and if you haven't turned on your notification bell, kindly do so that you get notified each time I upload new video, because I upload new video here every week. Bye.